fear for the Shia, who I consider to be Muslims and therefore my brothers, that many of them are going to be taken for a ride by someone who's going to be an imposter coming along tomorrow and declaring, I'm Imam al-Mahdi. There is another issue which stands between the Sunni and the Shia. And it is an issue which can unite the Sunni and the Shia. And that is the Sunni belief in the advent of Imam al-Mahdi. And the Shia most certainly believe in the advent of Imam al-Mahdi. We said to them some time ago that Imam al-Mahdi would not be a Shia, meaning would not be someone who holds on to this belief. The leadership in Islam is divinely ordained and is restricted to the family of the Prophet ﷺ. He will not be a Shia in that sense. But in another sense, he will be taking up what was left over in Karbala. Oh yes. And all the forces of oppression, and all the forces of tyranny, and all the forces of corruption of the faith, by bringing family rule and crown prince and king and so on, will all be running on that day, running for their life when Imam al-Mahdi comes. Because he's going to run them out of town. Oh yes. In that sense, Imam al-Mahdi would be in harmony with the movement that emerged from Karbala. The movement, the revolutionary movement that emerged from Karbala to restore the true faith and to protect the true faith from corruption and to stand up with matchless courage and integrity against oppression and tyranny. That Imam al-Mahdi will continue where Karbala left off. So tell them that for me in Riyadh. But Imam al-Mahdi would not be Shia in this sense, in believing that Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu was a usurper, وَنَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ هَذَا, and that Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu was a usurper, وَنَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ هَذَا, and that Uthman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu was a usurper, وَنَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ هَذَا. If that is Shia, Imam al-Mahdi is not Shia. The hadith is that a Khalifa will die, and Khalifa does not stand for a rightly guided leader. Khalifa could be any leader. A Khalifa will die, and then there will be dissent concerning succession. My opinion, of course, it's a Saudi king who's going to die. And they have 5,000 Saudi princes all lining up to fight for succession. And while that dissension is taking place in respect of succession after that Khalifa dies, then this man is going to come out of Medina and hurry to Mecca. He will have to be someone well known. Of course, he's an Arab, not an Indonesian. He speaks Arabic, not Bahasa Indonesia. He's going to hurry to Mecca. And when he arrives in Mecca, the people of Mecca are going to come out to him to urge him and to force him to accept the bay'ah at the Kaaba. This is not your normal Saudi. No. This has to be those Saudis who recognize the corruption in the regime and whose hearts long for the true Islam that will stand up to the Zionists. Saudi Arabia is now a Zionist state, the American kingdom of Saudi Arabia. These people are going to come out to him to urge him and force him to accept the bay'ah. And he will accept the bay'ah at the Kaaba. I made the observation, and let me repeat it again, but say it slowly this time because some people don't hear properly. I said that Makkah has never been a Shia city. Did I say that there are no Shia in Saudi Arabia? Huh? I said Makkah has never been a Shia city. Is this true or is it false? I said that I do not anticipate Makkah becoming a Shia city. No. In the sense of Makkah accepting this doctrine that succession is divinely ordained and it is restricted to the family of the Prophet ﷺ. This doctrine we are talking about. I said that it is impossible for Makkah, which is not Shia, it is Sunni. Only in this doctrinal sense we are talking. For a Sunni Makkah to give the bay'ah to an Imam al-Mahdi who is Shia, that's not possible. This is a statement I have made, and it has been twisted in so many different ways it becomes strange to look at. I gave this as my part of my argument that Imam al-Mahdi would not be Shia. But when he declares himself to be the Imam al-Mahdi at the Kaaba, I know there are going to be lots of Sunnis who will reject him. Lots of Sunnis who will reject him, declare he's a terrorist. Particularly the Sunnis living in the Zionist lands, you know, Saudi, United States of America and Canada and Britain and Europe and so on, and Australia and Singapore. He's a terrorist. There's another Osama bin Laden out there. So some Sunni will accept him and follow him. Some Sunni. This one will say, but he is not Deobandi, so I'm not going to follow him. That one will say, he's not going to be Brelvi, so I'm not going to be following him. That one will say, he's not this one and he's not that. All the sectarian movements in Islam will disown him. So who will follow Imam al-Mahdi on that day amongst the Sunnis? My view is very few. And then what will happen to the Shia? I believe that many Shia are going to reject him, Imam al-Mahdi. I believe that there are going to be Imam al-Mahdis around the corner before the real Imam comes. The Zionists have probably already crafted an Imam al-Mahdi. I heard there's one in Turkey. Let me not mention his name. Written a lot of books. So we're going to have a number of Imam al-Mahdis coming along the road. And it is only those with true knowledge and insight, only they will be able to recognize, nope, that's an impostor. That is not the true Imam. And I fear for the Shia, who I consider to be Muslims and therefore my brothers, that many of them are going to be taken for a ride by someone who's going to be an impostor coming along tomorrow and declaring, I'm Imam al-Mahdi. When will Imam al-Mahdi come? The answer is in Sahih Bukhari. Kayfa antum, said the Prophet ﷺ. What a wonderful time that would be. إذا نزل عليكم ابن مريم when the son of Mary will descend amongst you, وَإِمَامُكُمْ مِنْكُمْ, and at that time your imam will not be George Bush in the White House, or Obama, or the Security Council of the United Nations, because the imam has supreme authority. But your imam will be minkum, meaning the Khilafah will be restored. Darul Islam will be restored. That is Imam al-Mahdi. And so the advent of Imam al-Mahdi, I'm going to use a big word now, the advent of Imam al-Mahdi is an event which will be contemporaneous, occurring at the same time, contemporaneous with the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. This one coming just before that one. How much time is there left before Nabi Isa alayhi salam comes? Do not attempt to answer that question unless you've done your homework and you've studied Ilmu Akhiru Zaman. Many of my books outside that I've written are on this subject. Ilmu Akhiru Zaman. It is the most important branch of knowledge in Islam today. And it is the one branch of knowledge which is not being taught. Ilmu Akhiru Zaman. Please study that subject before you begin to make an estimate of how much time there is left. I always stick out my neck and give a figure. Even though I know they're going to come after me and say, "You're God? Only God knows the future." No, I stick out my neck and I give a figure. Of course, always saying, I can be wrong, Allah knows best. In order to condition your minds about an approximate time frame. That's all I'm doing, an approximate time frame. By my understanding, we probably have about 25-30 years left before Nabi Isa alayhi salam would come down. Some of my students say to me, "Sheikh Imran, you're wrong, it's much less than that." When Imam al-Mahdi comes and he proclaims himself Mahdi at the Kaaba, I know at that time there will be amongst the Shia those who will accept him and follow him. And there will be amongst the Sunni those who will accept him and those who will follow him. And at that time we will not be Shia and Sunni anymore. We would have restored the united ummah that Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam left. And I want to end the lecture tonight by saying that if that is what is going to come tomorrow, you should make the effort from today. Don't consider all the Shia to be the same, and don't consider all the Sunni to be the same. There are those whose Qibla is in Washington. They don't have the same Qibla as we do. And there are also amongst the Shia those who have corrupted beliefs. But not all are the same. So do not allow your mind to be corrupted. And reach out amongst the Shia for those who will unite into one solidarity in fighting a common battle against a common enemy, with the prayer that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will unite us on that day when Imam al-Mahdi returns. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا يَا مَوْلَانَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ بِرَحْمَتِكَ يَا أَرْحَمَ الرَّاحِمِينَ آمين.